Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and another rebirth figure just came in the mail. I was supposed to upload the most worst one yesterday, but unfortunately some stuff happened. Didn't get around to doing that. That will be out today too, probably before this one. But we have another rebirth figure to take a look at. As usual, I'm not going to tell you which one it is, even though, again, in fact, I did definitely put it in the title of the video, so you already know exactly what it is. But I'm going to pretend like you don't, just because it's more fun that way. And this figure looks so good. It is the Lab Lockdown T-Rex. I was so close for rebirth. I already have too many Mattel T-Rex figures that I've just somehow accumulated, and I really did not want to get another one. So I was going to skip out on the rebirth T-Rex, and there's the other one that was the only one revealed. I was like, okay, not going to get the rebirth T-Rex. And then they reveal the Lab Lockdown one is spotted, and that figure looks really good. So, yeah, I had to pick it up, especially when it came available. Also, this one also is a little bit cheaper than the other T-Rex, and again, I think it just, actually, I'm knocking the camera, looks a little bit better in my opinion, so that's why I was going to just get this one instead. So, yeah, now that brings my total of Mattel T-Rexes to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you count, four. 5 other T-Rexes I already have if you count my custom Tarbosaurus, which was a T-Rex at some point. And then, again, if we're assuming all those, plus this one, which would be 6th. I do not need any more T-Rexes. This is like the last Mattel T-Rex I'm ever buying. Anyways, let's get this guy out of the packaging after we take a closer look. First thing we have, the size comparison. On the sides of the box, Jurassic World Rebirth logo, Lab Lockdown T-Rex. Admittedly, I think the weird font actually kind of works on this packaging, though the other fonts still look a bit better. And also, again, I don't know if the red and black color is growing on me, or if it just works well on this box more. But, yeah, anyways, we have the T-Rex render. This is the old one. I like the newer ones a bit better, I'm pretty sure everyone does. We have the Jurassic World Rebirth logo, where you can see the T-Rex menacingly looking at you directly from the front. Back, you can see the Lab Lockdown T-Rex. This side, also just red. And then you can see how to attach the tail, which you can, hopefully, I think this one might be easier to get out of the box, as long as they don't have one of those weird foot things. If they don't, then this should be an easy one to get out of the box. So yeah, anyways, let's cut this figure out of the packaging. I'm going to cut the 2 strings up here, and hopefully that gets this out of the box. And please don't tell me it has a foot thing. Oh yeah, of course it has one of the foot things to keep it in place. And there's also a string for the tail, which I think I should be able to get out easier at the bottom of the box. Hopefully, just need to cut that string. And I think that should release the tail. No, there's another little thing in the back, I'm guessing, but I might be able to just pull it out from that one. Okay, accidentally damaged the box doing that, oh well. Anyways, here's the tail. Looks pretty nice already. It's honestly kind of baffling how it took Mattel this long to make a new T-Rex sculpt. And wait, is this gonna come out? Do I really need to get the foot happening? Yeah. Yeah, let's see. And just kind of pull it off. Yeah, you can kind of see. You know what? I already have too many rebirth boxes. I might as well not try bother keeping this one. Oh, well, there's a little bit damaged now. Let me just get this little foot thing off. Pretty much just gotta twist it around. Yeah, like once or twice. Yeah, there you go. And then it pops right off. Or at least close enough. Anyways, here's the Lab Lockdown T-Rex so far, which if you turn the foot forward, you can see. And you can see the figure cannot stand because it has proper sized feet. Mattel was like, for the longest time, was like, oh, we need to give them big feet so they can stand. But if you just take one of these proper tails and you just plug it in right where it goes, now the figure can stand. See, Mattel, all these years we were trying to tell you all you need to do is give your figures proper length, longer tails and smaller feet, and then they can stand, because that's how balancing works. Anyways, this T-Rex figure looks amazing, and I know a lot of people are saying, no, this is automatically the best T-Rex figure, and I think I have to agree with them. Definitely the best Jurassic T-Rex figure. And again, I was kind of talking about how I'm surprised it took Mattel this long to make a new T-Rex sculpt. Especially since, I don't know if Universal is doing it or if they insist on not making any other large carnivores outside of T-Rex unless they appear in the movie. And even then, we're only now getting our second Giganotosaurus. And, we do get Spinosauruses, but if we're counting ones that were widely accessible, we've only gotten 3 by this point. 4 if you count the original Legacy Collection one, since that one was kind of available outside the US. And, Yeah, there's also the Indominus Rex is the only other one, which that one, granted, pretty much every release of that figure was widely accessible, and they've released that figure like 4 times. Otherwise, we've gotten like so many T-Rexes, and I'm surprised it's taking them this long to make new skulls for them. Again, a quick solve to this issue is just like releasing more Giganotosauruses, of course, releasing more of the other carnivores, and also just making other large carnivores. Like I would love to see a Deinonychirus, Tyranotitan, and Mapusaurus. I know we already got in those 2 genus, and Carcharodontosaurus as well. I know we've gotten those 3, but I just want to see a one that looks more like the actual genus and also bigger in size. That's like the biggest issue with the gigantic tracker ones, because I don't know why they really don't look like the species they're supposed to be, and also just they're always too small. But anyways, we're at the T-Rex again, and this figure looks great. Starting off with the head sculpt, which let me just move my camera forward so that I can hopefully have the lighting. And this is like a I don't know, a lot of the images I thought it was like more of a gray color, or at least that's how I was kind of remembering it. But no, it's actually more of like a brown color. But it's kind of more like a cementy pavement, kind of like almost chocolatey brown, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. Again, as usual, got kind of weird lighting. Honestly, if I think I turn the head up a little bit. Yeah, you can kind of see. This thing has a lot of amazing detail on it. All of the movie species for Rebirth look amazing. Except for Titanosaurus, which even then, it's not Mattel's fault. It's Rebirth Titanosaurus. I don't think there's any way to make that creature look good. So, yeah. Anyways, looking at this thing's face, it has just the really good, like, scale detailing around, like, the front of the face. Nice kind of, keratin sheets kind of around the eye. I'm really surprised the Jurassic franchise has not taken advantage of that, especially on this new T-Rex design. That could have been pretty interesting if they wanted to change things up a little bit. Maybe change the crest to make them a little bit more exaggerated, with like maybe extending the keratin or making the scales a bit larger. Something they did do is give it like that big kind of iguana scoot on the side of the cheek, which actually looks kind of cool on here. Thankfully, they didn't put it at the end of the tip of like the face, like the Dinodex Velociraptor, but yeah. Again, just looking at this thing's face, it just looks so good. Let me see if I can get this up a little bit. So yeah, you can see this thing's face. It also has like kind of like some darker stripes like right here, alongside like darker color right there. Looking at the underside of the jaw and throat, it has a lot of wrinkling detail. Something I didn't mention on the Mosasaurus figure is that it actually had like kind of like the whale belly lines. I don't know exactly what to call them, but it kind of has those. When I bring it in for a size comparison, I'll show it off. Sorry I forgot to show that, but yeah. I don't know if the Rebirth T-Rex has the crocodile scoop on the belly, like the older T-Rex did. Mattel never put it on. I don't think it does. The only reason I say that is because I feel Mattel would definitely have put him on now, since people have been complaining about that, and just the detail on this figure is so good, I'd be surprised if they didn't put the effort in just to finish it off and make it absolutely perfect by putting the belly scoops on. But yeah. Anyways, you have the hands proted it in actually correctly, which is something really nice on this T-Rex design. And then going down the back, I think it has kind of more scoots down the back, like, except they're not exaggerated. Like on carnivores, I feel like the only reason T-Rex got spared from becoming just like crocodile is because, of course, it's T-Rex. They can't change their design too much. But I feel like other carnivores, if they really want to throw just grow osteoderms on them, kind of do it more like this instead of turning them into a literal bipedal crocodile like Allosaurus and the Baryonyx. But yeah, again, let me open this jaw. Not as many lower teeth as I was expecting, and also the mouth sculpt is pretty solid. I think I have seen better mouth sculpts by Mattel, but this is not a bad one by any means. It has enough detail, pretty nice. Also, it's nice that they have the tongue kind of posed upwards. I know the Quetzalcoatlus is kind of like that, but the this T-Rex's tongue is kind of posed, like attached to the back of the throat like that, so that it actually stays upward, because they've had the tongues kind of articulated, kind of closer to the bottom for the longest time. So yeah. And then, of course, the legs has nice wrinkling detail going down to the feet. Again, really nice, and they've been molding these in different plastics. So, of course, we finally have different colored toenails, which, honestly, I'll take it. Painted, do chipped more, so I guess I actually kind of like these a little bit more, but I'm still really nice. There's a little crack here, which I see that kind of happen with figures a lot, though it's usually not too much of an issue. And then there's also, no paints on the nails, of course, though this is Mattel, not expecting that. The stripes don't even go down all the way on the tail, which I thought was kind of an issue on this figure, but honestly, looking at it now, the stripes are really subtle, so it's not really noticeable when you get down to here, so it's not really that bad. So, yeah. On to articulation. This figure has really nice articulation. Again, the new T-Rex's action feature looks weird. I'll show the action feature on this guy in a second. But also, I think I just kind of prefer the articulation and stuff, since I think the tail and stuff is tied to the action feature, so the tail can go up, down. It's on like a ball joint, so it can move in literally every direction. Then it can be posed upwards. Pretty high up, actually. We can look like straight up. And then we can also pose it all the way down into here, pretty much. Really good. Also, you can swivel the ankles all the way around. I'm pretty sure the legs could probably go all the way around if I really wanted to show that, but you can pretty much go all the way around. Probably could go further if you'd like to. But yeah, you can move the T-Rex's legs out. Also, they actually push outwards like this. They haven't been doing that with a lot of the newer figures, probably to make the leg joints sturdier, which I do approve on those. This figure's a bit lighter, so it's not as necessary. But on some of the other ones, like the Spinosaurus, my Spinosaurus' leg joints are just completely ruined, my old one. So I'm happy the new Rebirth one has like better legs. And even if it makes the leg articulation a bit stiff, I prefer it be stiff than not really exist at all. Anyways, the head can go down, up. It's also just on a, not on a complete, like you can only turn it this far, and only can turn it this far. But honestly, I think it's just really good in neck articulation. I think it could go down a bit more, though, if you put the legs down. It usually works well enough. So yeah, and again, I think I just kind of skipped over the arms. The arms can go outward, they can go inwards, they can go forwards, they can go backwards, and they're pretty much, they can go all the way around pretty much. And again, they can go all the way outwards as well and inwards. So yeah. Then, of course, the jaw opens, both the upper and lower. Though that is part of the action feature, which we will get to. Because there is a button on the top, and it's just a really small, simple button. I've kind of been missing buttons. I know they're kind of an eyesore, and I do actually think I prefer the newer action feature we've been getting with them, with the, like, tails. But I think I really do like the buttons. They just kind of like every single time I think of just like a good Mattel action feature, I think of like the old Fallen Kingdom and Kylosaurus with just a simple button on top of it. Also, forgot to mention one point of articulation, the end of the tail actually can twist, so that's nice. Anyways, press this button on the top of the tail, and oh, this button goes further in than I was expecting, but it chomps. This button I was expecting to go in like that much, but no, it goes really far in. Pretty much push that button all the way in, and then it can chomp. Like the old chomping T-Rex, which I'll bring out. Man, that button goes in. Probably that's the furthest I've seen a Mattel button go all the way in. Like, you can literally stick it down probably about that far. It is a pretty deep button. So yeah, you can kind of just chomp. I know a lot of people like I don't know why. Sometimes I read like reviews for Jurassic figures or like Target and stuff. And a lot of people complain about the action features being too simple, even though they're pretty unique action features. But I prefer kind of the more simple one. Like, I kind of just really like the button action feature. And a lot of times, even like the tail button action feature, I like it really good. Like, the ones with the button on the tail, you can control the head, really are just nice. And even, like, the newer Gigantic Tracker and, like, whatever ones are also pretty good. A bit trickier than the ones with the buttons, but I know they're more seamless. So that's pretty nice. And this T-Rex is just really nice. So, yeah. Honestly, now we get to move on to the side compare. This review should be shorter since the Mosasaurus was, like, what, 40 minutes? Don't know how the Rebirth reviews keep on getting that long. Guess I just like to ramble along a lot. I'm going to try to do that a little bit less in this video. But, yeah, here's the Rebirth T-Rex, which I'm going to actually angle that down. Okay, I know I just said I'm not going to ramble, but I am going to ramble on this right now. I want Mattel to make another Hammond Collection T-Rex, but to be a Rebirth T-Rex. I think the old Hammond Collection T-Rex, of course, is not perfect and has its issues. But I think it'd be nice to actually, this one, either get a Hammond Collection Rebirth T-Rex or a Hammond Collection Bull T-Rex. And again, also the Rebirth T-Rex, if they did change the design, I think there's nothing wrong with the design. I think it's still a nice Jurassic T-Rex design, but they did change the design. I want it to look like the Mattel figure. I think the Mattel figure just changes it to a way that it still looks like the Jurassic T-Rex, but it just looks way more unique. But this new T-Rex, again, doesn't look particularly unique to me, but it doesn't really have to. It does look different from the others. It kind of just looks like, I don't know exactly how to explain it, but if Rexy was a Bull T-Rex, kind of. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially since the new thing with this T-Rex is its behaviors. And I think the behaviors are really interesting and nice. And that seems going to be really good, definitely. But this figure measures in at about 18 inches long, like on the dot. So that's a pretty long figure. And in height, I'd say it's about 7 inches tall on the dot at the hip. And at the top, like the eyebrow ridge, like 6 3/4. Pretty tall. Now, let me go make a mess by taking everything off the shelf. Actually, before I move on to that, one other thing I kind of wanted to talk about is that I kind of wish Mattel would have released more basic versions of some of the other Rebirth figures. Kind of like the Spinosaurus. I know they released it in that set, but I think that Spinosaurus doesn't really look that good. And I think it would have been cool if we would have gotten kind of like the Tail Thrasher Spinosaurus, but maybe like the exact same size as this T-Rex. And it has just like a chomp, like you can just have the button on the back of the tail like the other Rebirth one. And it doesn't have like the tail joints or anything. You can just press it, it chomps. basically the same action feature as this, identically. And for the Mosasaurus, one that's the same size as the other one, just without the like thrashing and spitting out action feature. Maybe make it a bit cheaper, just have a chomping action feature. I think this would be really cool to see. Though, granted, again, I actually really like the Tail Thrasher and the other Spinosaurus. I just thought it'd be cool if they released a cheap version of those two. The Quetzalcoatlus doesn't really need one since it has literally all the action features it has. It's kind of necessary for it. So, yeah. And also, Titanosaurus is so disgusting, it doesn't deserve to have more than one figure. It barely deserves to have that one, so, yeah. Anyways, let me go get some other figures to compare this to. So, of course, I have the size comparison I know literally everyone has been asking for, and definitely wants to see with this T-Rex. My custom Siatsmega figure. Okay, yeah, this is just a Chap-made Siatsmega, but it had a really nice sculpt. I saw images of it, and I, like, really wanted to find it, so I went out one day, got the figure. I did a review of it, though. I don't know if a lot of people saw that one. Then I customized it, but I didn't do a video on it for some reason. And this is, like, one of my favorite customs. Honestly, if I come across another figure, I might do another one. Cause I kind of want to do one. Because there's like an orange and a green one. I got the orange one and repainted it like this. Maybe get a green one and maybe do the brown instead of doing brown. Maybe do more of like a greenish tone. That could be pretty cool. But yeah. Anyways, of course, everyone wants to see this compared to it. Surprisingly, this figure is actually bigger. Well, it would be shorter, but I added like a good 4-inch extender because this tail was literally just to here. It was a super short tail. I know Mattel does short tails, but this was even shorter than that. But with that tail extension, it's longer, and I think it's actually a bit taller. Actually, quite a bit taller. It's like a few inches taller. So, yeah, the Siatsmega is way bigger than the Mattel Rex. So, yeah. Anyways, now, here's compared to the Rebirth Spinosaurus, which it's smaller than. Considerably smaller than. Again, because it's the smaller T-Rex scale. So, of course, it is smaller than the Spinosaurus. But I am absolutely A-okay with that. I guess you can kind of have them, like, fight if you really wanted to. Okay, one complaint I do have with this figure already. I know I was talking about how the sculpted tongue being up was kind of nice. It kind of is an issue. I think the articulated tail were kind of like... the articulated tongue worked a little bit better, since in this position, half the mouth is taken up, so you can't even bite larger things like the Spinosaurus figure, but you could bite smaller things, maybe like this Velociraptor figure, which is going to be the next size comparison. You can kind of put it over the tongue, and then it kind of can chomp on that. And it actually, that is one benefit of the tongue, though. Since it's in a locked position, it actually adds support, so it can actually grab onto other figures. Also, this lighting looks absolutely terrible, even though it looks pretty alright in person. And I cannot figure out why. Let me just try moving that. Yeah, I think that fixes it. But, yeah. It grabs, you can actually hold on to things like that way better. And again, let me get the Velociraptor in frame for you can see size comparison. Definitely dwarfs, and I think it scales nicely with that and the with the human figure. Also, this T-Rex is like $30. I think it's like similar. It's like okay, $10 cheaper than the Spinosaurus and the other ones. I think I actually would recommend getting like the Spinosaurus and Mosasaurus over this guy. Though, despite if you want a T-Rex, I recommend this one over the other ones. I don't know why. I just think this one looks better. And the other T-Rex, I think I don't like the action feature on that. And also the paint job looks a little bit not as good. But anyways, this T-Rex, can it bite a human? Because a lot of the Rebirth figures have really low jaw strength. So they can barely hold on to anything. But that is definitely a benefit with this T-Rex figure. Like, yeah, you can't bite as large of things, but the smaller things it can hold very well in its mouth. So, that's really nice. So, yeah. That's a human figure compared to it. Next, here is another Rebirth figure, the Utah Raptor. Which actually goes pretty nicely with it. So, yeah. The Utah Raptor kind of attacking. And then I don't know if the T-Rex can even bite it. This is like the Mosasaurus video where I was trying to see if we could pick up literally everything. But yeah, you can actually bite onto the Utah Raptor with the T-Rex now. So, yeah. Anyways, next we have the Maiasaur, which sizes up with this figure more than it sizes up with the other T-Rex figures. This is more accurate to what it would have been in real life. So, yeah, that's another nice thing. Also, again, you can like also turn the neck to get really good photos of this thing. Kind of like chomping on. Though, again, the tongue makes it so you can't even bite around the whole body. Even though, if you kind of like shove the tongue aside, you kind of can almost get around the body. But around the neck kind of works pretty well. Make it look like a hunter Maiasaur. So, yeah. Next, here's it compared to the Bite and Blast Mosasaurus. Which completely and utterly outsides this thing in every way. Absolutely massive. just take the Mosasaurus, just open that mouth, and it can grab the entire T-Rex in its jaws. Definitely a massive figure. Definitely the Mosasaurus has a nice sculpt. And again, I wanted to show the kind of whale texturing on the underside of the belly. So yeah. Also, I forgot to show the scan code of the T-Rex. So let me do that real fast so that if you like to scan this guy into your Jurassic Facts app, you can do that. So let me see if I can. And we're going to show it from the side because I do not want to have to figure out how to get this figure to stand upright so that you can. Hopefully that's scannable. Yeah. So yeah, that's the T-Rex. Now to actually compare it to some T-Rexes. So first, here's it compared to the old chomping T-Rex. Again, keep in mind I customized this one, so it doesn't look like the old chomping T-Rex, but it is. And actually the old chomping T-Rex is taller, but I think it's shorter. Which is weird since the old chomping T-Rex is way lengthier. But it's still, actually no, it is, it's significant. It's longer by a few inches. And in height, it's actually shorter. Yeah, I don't know why it looked like that from the back. This figure really needs to be redone. It has like webs all over and like dust all over it because its paint's messed up. The spines are kind of messed up. I really already do this figure at some point. So, yeah, anyways, that's the chomping T-Rex. Also, the button not being on the back of the neck is so much better. Instead of having the button on the back, I think just is way nicer. You have it kind of further back instead of having it right on the neck. We have to choke the T-Rex to do the action feature. But, yeah, this one I think somehow had worse neck articulation, even though having like 2 points of a neck articulation. We've come a long way. We've come a very long way. Anyways, gonna go with the other old T-Rex figure, which is the Thrash and Throw T-Rex. My Thrash and Throw T-Rex is broken. Like, it can still thrash, which also, I wish the mechanism on the Mosasaurus was closer to this so that when this is for the weak, like the joints were less weak so you can actually thrash when it's on the side. But, yeah. Thrash and Throw T-Rex kind of can barely, despite having, well, yeah, it has its tail, even though it's a significantly larger T-Rex figure. The tail is about as long as the lab lockdown T-Rex, but it has way bigger feet. There's like twice the size, and this thing still can barely stand. So, mine can do the yup kind of roar, but it cannot chomp down anymore. It just kind of bends down like that. I don't know why. Mine broke at some point like that, and now it barely works. But this is definitely my first T-Rex figure. And also the jaws can open crazy wide and just chomp all the way around the throat of the lab lockdown one. But, yeah. Anyways, you did see the lab lockdown T-Rex compared to Thrash Throw. Looks smaller, but if you see from a taller angle, you can definitely see that the lab lockdown one is significantly smaller. Then, I think the next oldest would be this one, because I think this one came out for like, not so bad. Anyways, we have this T-Rex. I got this guy in a lot. Otherwise, I definitely was not really intending on picking up this T-Rex figure. And originally I was going to customize this guy and just kind of keep it. But I think I am going to customize it and put it on the Etsy. Since, again, I have too many T-Rex figures. What do you think I should do? Should I turn it into like an accurate... Should I just repaint it into like the rebirth T-Rex so it's more screen accurate than this one? Should I just customize this into the... into like an accurate T-Rex? And if I do, what color scheme should I go? Should I go like Prehistoric Planet, New Walking with Dinosaurs 2025? And just honestly, just anything on my accurate T-Rex tier list. Maybe even the Dino Dex T-Rex. I might actually do that, considering maybe I'll make like make a Dino Dex T-Rex. I would have to add a lot of fuzz on it, but oh well. Action feature on this guy, the button and the tail. I don't really like the shaking action feature, but somehow the mutant lucked out and was able to get two action features that I don't like, the shaking and the weird twisting, both done well on one singular figure. Fortunately, no Dinochirus or even like Shantungosaurus with that action feature would have been awesome, but oh well, we get it on Mr. Mutant. Anyways, I think this is the last T-Rex that I own. The Hammond Collection T-Rex. Actually, no, I have one more after this, actually. And the Hammond Collection one is significantly larger. Significantly longer, significantly taller. These are like the two best T-Rexes. Here, also the Red Rex one is really good, but I was originally going to get that figure, but seeing that I got this one, I don't really want to have too many T-Rexes. There's so many. I was really not even intending on getting this one, but it just looks so good. So, yeah, you can see, also if you see from a taller angle, you can see that the Hammond Collection one's way larger. So, yeah. Definitely, I know a lot of people already say this, but we need an updated version of the Hammond Collection figure. Especially with some of the newer techniques. This would be an amazing figure. But, yeah. Now that we have Spinosaurus, I'm totally for that. Because there's no other large carnivores that I really would want them. I know there's Indominus Rex, but don't particularly care about that. Honestly, maybe at the end I'll like rapid fire off some Hammond collection figures I kind of want them to make. But yeah, this video is getting too long already. I was trying to make this shorter than some of the other Rebirth reviews. Anyways, now we have the Therizinosaurus. I didn't feel like getting the Hammond collection Giganotosaurus off the shelf. It's a hassle to put it on and off. You can see the Therizinosaurus. Sizes up really nicely. Better than sizes up with the other T-Rexes. This is more accurate to how the Therizinosaurus should size up with T-Rexes in the Jurassic franchise. At least with the toys. In the films, it sizes up like this. But with the figures, it doesn't for some reason. And that is really nice to see it kind of more like this. So, yeah. Now I have one more thing that I forgot to kind of grab, but I do want to compare it to, which is the... Anyways, here's the Habitat Defender Triceratops. Perfect Triceratops figure with the perfect T-Rex figure, and it sizes up so interestingly. We just need an Edmontosaurus this size, and we'll have, like, the perfect dinosaur figures for the spawner. Honestly, if they make another Habitat Defender kind of figure, and it's, like, a really big herbivore, I would prefer Shantungosaurus, but I'll take an Edmontosaurus. That'd be really cool to see as well. But, yeah, here's the T-Rex sized up with it. Really cool. Really interesting. Also, again, the Rebirth T-Rex, I think instead of the larger Rebirth T-Rex, I would have preferred a feathered T-Rex. Maybe I read that wrong and it said featured, or they spelled it wrong and they spelled it too feathered, but I could have sworn there was something that said a feathered T-Rex. So, yeah, I thought we were getting like Prologue Rexy, or even the Rebirth Rex was going to be feathered, which I actually think I prefer it without the fuzz, but I think it would be cool if we got a feathered Rex. At least if they're gonna have, if they insist on making more T-Rexes, make another new sculpt. I know they just made this one, and make a feathered like Rexy. Basically, we'd finally get like an updated Rexy sculpt, but it's also feathered. That'd be pretty cool. And then release like a few more of these T-Rexes, of course, every now and then. But for the most part, give us some large carnivores like Carcharodontosaurus. Dinocyrus is like a necessity. Maybe like one of the battle damage figures. Like I know we've been getting more large battle damage figures. Last year we got Allosaurus. Maybe this year we can get Saurophaganax. I know, dubious genus, but if you guys get Titanosaurus and Nanotyrannus and Baclospinax, I want Saurophaganax. That's all I want in my life. After that, there's not a single other dubious genus I really want them to do. Except maybe Seismosaurus, but honestly, I think Diplodocus covers that well enough. We need Saurophaganax, though. It could be like an accurate Allosaurus figure. That would be really cool to see. Don't know why I'm talking with the lab lockdown T-Rex, but we are now. So, yeah. Anyways, now for my final thoughts on this figure. I think it's really nice. Definitely best T-Rex figure. Honestly, if you're getting a lot of the Rebirth figures and you're kind of on the wall and getting the T-Rex, get this one. It's cheaper. It looks better. It's just nicer. Again, if you're not a fan of the action figure, definitely just get this T-Rex. It's really nice. Nice scale. Again, I actually kind of like the smaller T-Rex since it's kind of like it sizes up well enough with the larger carnivore and stuff, but it feels like you can kind of have more focus on like Spinosaurus and other figures and stuff. Honestly, just think this is a nice T-Rex. It could be like a sub-adult if you really wanted it to be. But yeah, honestly, you even could double as a Daspletosaurus, which again, Mattel, just move your Carcharodontosauruses up so they're the size of the T-Rex figures, and then make medium Tyrannosaurs like Gorgosaurus and Daspletosaurus and a bunch of other ones like Teratophonius and stuff. You have no figures of those genus, yet they all should be in the gigantic tracker size range. Just put them there and give the Carcharodontosaurus the proper size. Please. Also, Hammond collection, again, a few ones that I think would be cool to see is Scorpius Rex is the only hybrid that I really think needs a Hammond collection figure. The only figure of the Scorpius Rex that I see that does it justice is the Jurassic Justin figure, which first thing that thing's out of stock is like, it's a limited edition item, and also it's $200. Like, please, Mattel, just make a Hammond collection one. Scorpius Rex, yes, I'm biased. It's my favorite hybrid in the franchise. Think it does the failed hybrid thing better than the mutants are, just solely off design alone. I think at least mutant, I have to admit, the concept of trying to make it sympathetic, and from some things I heard, I think actually could work, just the design makes no sense. Again, if it had a better design, then I think that I actually kind of would like the mutant. Especially, again, I think the backstory works. The Mutodons are just really pointless. I would have preferred another Quetzalcoatl scene, or just to see the Velociraptors. Like, How to Train Your Dragon is already making a dragon movie. If I wanted to see Dragon, I'd just go watch that instead. So, or just wait a few years to Godzilla X Kong Supernova. If I wanted to see Kaiju. I wanted to see dinosaurs. That's why I'm coming to watch this movie. So, yeah, again, Scorpius Rex, Carnotaurus. I skipped down the other Carnotaurus. I really want like a Lost World novel Carnotaurus. Please, I just want that one that looks like kind of similar to the arcade one. That would be like my dream Jurassic figure. Definitely be like one of my favorite figures. Probably, I don't know, depending on how good it is, it would either be my second favorite or my favorite Carnotaurus figure after the Beast of the Mesozoic one. And also the recurve Carnotaurus looks really interesting as well. Man, there's a lot of actor Carnotaurus that's coming out. I'm gonna have to start making room for them. But anyways, they also have the Jurassic Park the game ones. Like we just got Troodon, which admittedly looks kind of ugly and not much like the one from the game. But it'd be cool to see Herrerasaurus, which is another small figure, so it's probably gonna look bad. And Tylosaurus. I think I'd prefer to see a Ham Collection Tylosaurus over a Mosasaurus, unless it's the Rebirth Mosasaurus. If it's the Rebirth Mosasaurus, man, I would be out of space because I would have to get that thing. But if it's if we're not doing a Rebirth ones, then do the Tylosaurus. Again, we have a few not really canon species I think would be cool to see. Also, Camp Cretaceous has a lot of good designs. Better than the movies, so I don't know why we haven't gotten any. Like, how come we haven't gotten any, like, Ham Collection Suchomimus? Maybe even make it more based off the Jurassic World one with the blue color scheme, but make it like the Chaos Theory Sculpt. Maybe Ham Collection Back with Spinax would be pretty cool. Ham Collection Pachyrhinosaurus would be pretty decent. We haven't gotten a single other Ceratopsian after Triceratops, though. That's understandable. Because every other Ceratopsian after Triceratops kind of sucks outside. And the Pseudoceratops, which would be pretty cool. And, yeah, those are really the main ones. Also, like, if they're doing non-canon species, I saw some concept arts. I put them on the screen. I think it's, like, Oshali. A bunch of cool, like, absolute perfection non-canon species, what I love to see. Also, Carcharodontosaurus was one of them. Jurassic Park the game color scheme. I mean, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis color scheme. Literally be a dream figure. I'd never complain about the Carcharodontosaurus, at least not that much after that. Definitely, some other ones like Ichthyosaurus, Inostrancevia would be cool to see as non-canon species, like if they're adding those to the Ham Collection. Again, they should stick with mainly canon ones, but they had to throw some non-canon ones. I think those should be some fun ones. Re-release the Irritator exactly how it is, please, Mattel. Just, I missed out on that figure. I really regret it. I thought it was going to release in stores, but apparently it was an online exclusive, and I had no idea. Oh, man. Anyways, yeah, I think that's about it. Again, definitely a great figure. 100% would recommend they pick it up. If you get a chance, this was the only, I went to the store a few days ago, and this is the only one that I saw. This was the only Rebirth figure I saw in stores. Granted, it was from, like, the only mainline figure. I saw this figure from, like, at least, like, what, like, 2-3 meters away as someone was walking away with it. So, yeah, I didn't really get to see any Rebirth figures on that toy hunt, but I did kind of see the Lockdown T-Rex, and happy that it became available online. So, yeah. Anyways, now, I would definitely recommend you get this figure again. I will see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.